Alright guys, deer season is fast approaching and I've made some pretty major changes to my bow hunting setup for this season. So what I wanted to do today was walk you through the changes I made, why I made them, so let's get right into it. So first, what I want to highlight for y'all is my stabilizers. So I made the jump to the Quattro Delta hunting stabilizers. I actually made a jump to a 12 and an 8, and I had a 10 and an 8. So I wanted a little bit extra stabilization there. These bars are super thin, which I like a lot, as well as very light. So for me, hunting on public land, 95% of the time I'm walking at least, a mile to my spot. And so that extra weight being pulled off has been great. They also have on them what's called the Rotera dampening system. And so this just really does help cut that vibration, cut any sound. And it's made this bow a super quiet and accurate setup. I've noticed more consistency with my pin float, especially with using that back bar. They've got the BeeReal mount that allows you to really fine tune where you have your back bar set up. And so for me, that's made my pin float more consistent, which has led to my groups being a little bit tighter, a little bit more consistent. And so I'm really looking forward to that aspect as we move into this season of being a little bit more confident to have some of those longer shots, as well as being a little bit more confident in the consistency of my shot placement. So another major change that I made this year is I made the jump to the Axcel Landslide. So before this, I was shooting a CBE Trek Pro, and a lot of y'all might know I had the crosshairs on it. Loved that sight. It was super nice, but I got to the point where I wanted to make a change to something that allowed me to, one, have a little bit more range. The Trek, just the way it fit on my bow, I don't know what it was, but by the time I hit 90 yards, if I was shooting for fun, I started to worry about aerial clearance. So with this sight, I don't have that issue. I also switched to a single pin 2-dot configuration to give myself a little bit less confusion in the stand, a little bit less movement. With the single pins are great. I love a single pin, but what I've come to realize is, there's so many situations where it's like, you're either trying to guesstimate, hey, I have my 20 pin, but they're really at 28, so let me just aim high, or they're in close, you need to change your pin, but it's just, you don't have the time to move. And so with this Axcel, I've done the 2-pin, I've gone for the 2-dot selection to allow myself to have a 20 and a 30 or a 20 and a 40, just depending on where I put those dots. And so for me, that allows me to more easily, one, shoot consistently. So you're going to be more humane, you're going to be more accurate. And then I don't have to move as much in the stand. If a deer comes in at 35 yards, now I can go to my 40 pin versus being on a 20 only and needing to change my pin, having to move around in the stand. Also with the CBE Trek, it had a really weird spot for the locking mechanism. So in order to lock in your distance, you really had to reach around your bow, and it was just very inconvenient. Whereas with the Landslide, it's all on the outside, it's very simple, it's smooth, it's fast, and by having that 2-dot system, I don't have to change near as much. The next change I made was hopped into some gas strings. I have shot gas strings on all my bows. I really love the quality, they hold up. You can shoot them for years, as long as you don't really even have to wax them that often. I do occasionally if I've really been shooting heavy. The zebra strings that came on my Mathews bow, wore out after about a year, which, what do you expect from kind of like some of those factory strings? But with these gas strings, you're getting a little bit more consistency, a little bit better feet per second, some of those things, and I just love the quality of the bowstring. Two other major changes I made this year just with switching into a more streamlined setup went with the Integrate QAD rest. So utilizing the bridge lock technology or whatever it's called, where you can integrate these things, streamline them, really help keep all that weight in the same place. And then also switched up to the LowPro Quiver. So really a major upgrade with the quiver. I was using like a True Glow $20 quiver that I've had for 12 years. It was falling apart, couldn't hold the micro diameter arrows. I had to stealth strip the rubber slots just to get the arrows to pinch. And so as I switched to this new arrow setup that we're about to talk about, decided, hey, let's make the jump into the LowPro quiver, make the investment. Really keeps it tight to the bow, as well as looks clean. I'm a Mathews guy, so I like the things to be, the same. I like it to match. Really have enjoyed this quiver. It does a great job of keeping everything in line. Don't have to worry about arrows falling out anymore, and it is high quality. And the final thing that I've changed for this season is my arrows. So last year I was shooting the RIP TKOs. Nothing wrong with those arrows, really loved them, but my guy Kenny over at Top Flight Archery builds all my arrows. So I went over to Kenny, said, hey, what's up for this year? And he believes in the Easton Axis long range. Love this arrow. It's I have the 4mm diameter arrow. It has been super consistent long range. It flies straight, it flies consistently, and it still retains a lot of that energy downrange. And so that's something, I have a whole video on that and I can link it here, but Kenny will talk about how he marries the bow to the arrow. And so really have spent a lot of time dialing this arrow setup in. I wanted to maximize accuracy at range, so this is designed to go against wind drift, to fly more consistently, and I really have seen that as I've shot this arrow more and more. And these things are freaking durable. I've shot them into wood, I've shot them into all sorts of things. Just pull them out and keep running. Got a nice Easton outsert, and they have been great. If you're looking for arrows or anything bow related and you're in the West Tennessee area, Kenny does ship all over the country as well. Give Kenny a call over at Top Flight Archery. I'll leave his number here and link his pages down below. You can also check him out on his most recent podcast. He was on Mossy Oak Gamekeepers. Kenny does a lot of work with plots as well as on bows. So give that a listen, check that out. If you're in the market for some arrows or any bow equipment getting ready for this season, give Top Flight Archery a call. Kenny will take care of you. Tell him I sent you. And then the final piece to my setup for this year, shooting the same old True Ball Rave. I get a ton of questions about this release. I think it comes in around the $149 price point. It's just you pinch the jaws on the D loop, easy tension adjustable, thumb barrel adjustable, thumb release. I wanted, to have a easy break into using thumb releases. Went with this, have been using it for 2-3 years now, and it has been great. Although I am thinking about switching up to the Stan Solix finger release. We're gonna see. I'm gonna play around with a couple of those, but for now, this will be my go-to release for the season. So y'all, that's a rundown of my bow setup for this year. Let me know in the comments what you're shooting. If you've got any questions about any of the products I have on my bow, leave a comment. I love to talk about archery gear. I'm super excited for this season. Gonna try to film some hunts for y'all. So if you'd like to see anything in particular, leave a comment below. Like, subscribe. I really appreciate y'all watching the videos and showing some love. Until next time, I appreciate it.